Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about Ashlesha Nakshatra. The first thing I want to go over is the basics about Ashlesha. The Ashlesha is ruled by Mercury or Buddha. The ruling deity are the sarpas or snakes. The symbol for Ashlesha is a coiled snake or a coiled serpent. The translation of Ashlesha is embrace. Ashlesha is a female nakshatra. Ashlesha's guna is sattva, and its nature is sharp and dreadful. The element is water. Ashlesha's caste is the malicha, or the outcast. Ashlesha's gana is raksha. The animal is a male cat. Ashlesha is one of those nakshatras that is a lot of times I haven't really heard the full description, so I'm going to make sure that like with most of my videos, I'm going to tell the good and the bad. That way, you know, you can set your mind to you know, dealing with the ups and downs and the tribulations of being in this nakshatra. This nakshatra is, I do want to mention that this nakshatra is also happening on a Gandanta point. For this one, it is 26 degrees and 40 minutes to 30 degrees in the Cancer. And the general characters of Ashlesha is these people have a lot of difficulty showing gratitude. They often have like a dual nature. Like they're those types of people you can't figure out. They're usually very intelligent, and they're also most of the time really soft-spoken. They're not easily swayed by others. It's really hard to get them to trust you and believe you. They work really well alone. So even though like they have like a dual nature going on, they're not of the cheating nature. So I don't want people to get that confused. A lot of times I've heard people say like, you know, Ashleshas, they cheat people, and no, they don't. That's not in their nature. They're often mistaken by others, though, because of their quiet nature. Not only their quiet nature, but they're really shy. They have an external shyness. It's not really like they're shy, but they have this external shyness that makes them get misunderstood by others a lot. And sometimes, you know, people, they often think, you know, that this Ashlesha is like up to no good, or maybe trying to cheat them, and so they want to be the first ones to cheat. So oftentimes this nakshatra will find themselves in a situation where people are trying to cheat them. So look out for that. These people, not only are they, really soft-spoken, and they're always telling the truth and they don't cheat, they also don't keep any distinction between, like, they're not prejudiced against, like, they don't keep a distinction between, like, the rich, the poor, the good, or the bad. They're kind of, open-minded. They don't really think about that. so sometimes when people want to get close to Ashlesha, they might say, like, oh, I need you, and I need you for this, or I need you to do this report for me. And Ashleshas have a really hard time distinguishing between who really needs them and who is just looking for something from them. These people, kind of like our previous nakshatras with Pushya and Magha, this nakshatra also loves to be recognized for their good deeds. This nakshatra, even though Ashlesha has a really quiet and shy demeanor, you don't want to get on their bad side because they have a really hard time controlling their temper, and who knows what can happen if their temper gets out of hand. They're the type of people that really quiet, so if their temper gets out of control, it might become a disaster. One thing about this nakshatra is that it is, these people, they do really like, and I think this is why a lot of people get this nakshatra confused, because these people do, like, I mean, their animal is the snake, right? The serpent. So these people like to squeeze you dry, so to speak. They're very, very possessive about their materials, about their loved ones, about their work. Anything that's theirs, they kind of hold on to it and squeeze. They're the type of people that, like, if you give them a foot, they'll take a yard, or give them an inch and they'll take a foot. Another trait of this nakshatra is that these guys don't like confrontation. They're more like the types that would like to bury their head in the sand to avoid any conflict. But in terms of them, when they have something, it's in their possession, whether it be material or relationships, they squeeze. Even as a child, like a young child, like if he or she notices that the parent is giving more attention to the other siblings, this child will kind of squeeze the parents not squeeze like, well, they could squeeze like physically, but they want that attention really badly, so they have that tendency to kind of squeeze. And like for a businessman, so to speak, they're the types of people who would get into business and their business would flourish, but they'll squeeze every element to try to get more out of each section. So they're pretty relentless when it comes to the squeezing aspect of, you know, getting everything that they can. Some other traits is that, you know, they have a lot of trouble, like I said, being grateful. You know, it's not necessarily that they're not grateful, but they have a lot of trouble showing it. And it doesn't matter. It can be their parents, a loved one, a workmate. It doesn't matter. They have a lot of trouble showing, you know, tenderness or being grateful. Sometimes these people will even pretend to be sympathetic, but deep inside, they're not bothered by anybody's suffering. So even though they're not prejudiced and, you know, they're really, you know, they don't get into people's business a lot, they're also, like, other people's suffering doesn't bother them. It's kind of like they have that attitude as being beyond that. But, I mean, they're not haughty. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But they definitely are not bothered by other people's suffering. They may not be haughty, but they're not, you know, they may, you know, if somebody says, hey, this happened, they'll be like, oh, I'm really sorry that happened to you. But inside, they don't care about that. They're not bothered by it. So, and sometimes, you know, like, they're not really bothered by your sufferings, but they get really, really upset if you're not bothered by their sufferings. So it's kind of hypocritical, I guess you might call it, but I mean, so they're not completely emotionless. They have emotions, but showing it towards others is really difficult for these people. They are usually very, very intelligent. They are really good speakers. I mean, these are the guys that you want to deliver your messages and everything. These guys, they have a great speech. You know, I mean, even if they're not like loud speakers, they speak well. So you need a proposal written, you go get somebody with Ashlesha to write up that proposal. And it'll probably be great. These guys, I mean, they're the type of people, like these guys and girls, they're the type of people that can like put you to sleep with their words or make you believe in something. I think Adolf Hitler had Ashlesha Nakshatra somewhere prominently in his chart. But you know, a lot of politicians had Ashlesha Nakshatra, now that I think about it. I can't remember their names, but I think there was, that Indian lady who, what was her name? I can't remember her name, but I think she had Ashlesha too. So these guys are really, really good speakers. They're able to like hypnotize you, and just like a snake, you know. They have penetrating eyes, but you know, for a long time, I always thought like Ashleshas were, you know, they were probably going to be like really good-looking natives. But actually, on the contrary, and I mean, not saying that they're not good looking, you know, I'm sure there's good looking Ashlesha natives out there, but usually, like for the female Ashleshas, They're usually not good looking. They're kind of homely looking. But that doesn't mean all of them are, but most of the time. Usually she has some kind of like disfigurement on the face or the body. And usually these ladies are, not very happy. They're really secretive and bitter in nature. They may be harsh and unkind in dealing with others. Now, if she is more kind, her shortcomings might get forgotten by those that come into contact with her. But even though, like, her attitude and the way that she looks doesn't mean she's not popular. These girls are usually very, very popular. And Indira Gandhi, that's the girl, the old prime minister of India. She had a really good Ashlesha prominent running through her chart. Yeah, that's who it was. Well, she was really good looking though. So, there it goes. Just proves right there that not all the time, are they like having that homely look or whatever. But a lot of the time, that might happen. And usually the male Ashlesha, even though they're really good at talking, they might have like an awkward look to them. Sometimes they have like a limp when they walk. Oh no, I'm sorry, they don't have a limp. I'm getting that mixed up with another nakshatra. Scratch that. But no, usually Ashleshas do have like an awkward kind of look. But it's not so much their look, it's their manners. The way that, that quiet disposition, and then, the penetrating eyes. I think that, as long as Ashleshas just try to see the good in others, I think that this nakshatra could be completely awesome. It's intriguing, intelligent, hypnotizing. It's just the element of, taking that care that they have for themselves and realizing that wanting people to respect you, look at other people and say, oh, they probably want the same thing too. And maybe that'll help a little bit. I know that concept has helped me a lot. Let's move on. So some more about the females. They do have a lot of self-control. And sometimes having that not caring attitude, it's not always good, but the girl Ashleshas, they usually do care. So they're a little bit different than their male counterparts in that aspect. They're very self-confident. They also have really good communication powers. They can win any sort of argument, They're the type of people who, they speak so well that, like, they could be totally wrong about something, but because they said it so well, they get it by. Um, I wonder how to do this in a good order here. I definitely want to go over the compatibilities. So we'll just go to the compatibility right now, since I'm trying to figure out which way to go with this presentation. So Ashlesha Nakshatras, they get along really well with nakshatras of Buddha or Mercury. So they're going to get along, of course, with other Ashleshas. They're going to get along with Jyeshtha. They're going to get along with Revati. They're going to get along really well with nakshatras of Surya, or the sun. So that means Kritika, Uttar Falguni, and Uttar Ashada. They're going to get along with Shukra, or Venus. So that's your Bahrani, Purva Falguni, and Purva Ashada. Now they're a little bit neutral with Shani nakshatras. So you've got your Pushya, Anuradha, and Utta Bhadra. And then Ashlesha goes uneasy with Mongol nakshatras. So that's Marigashara, Chitra, and Dhanishta. Also, they go uneasy with Brihaspati planets, or nakshatras. So that's Purnavasu, Vishaka, and Purva Bhadra. I can never say that. And the nakshatras of Rahu and Ketu, which is the Arudra, Swati, Mula, Magha, Ashwini, and Shatabishta. And the most challenging are the ones with Chandra. And that's your Rohini, Hasta, and Shravana. So these ones might be more challenging. So as we've already said, Ashlesha, they're really intelligent, super intelligent. You know, it's also said that Ketu, you know, the south node of the moon, was born in this nakshatra. So it's surprising that K2 would be like, I mean, it's not a totally challenging planet, but it's a little uneasy, I guess. But it's surprising that it would be uneasy because, you know, he was born in it. But I mean, sometimes that happens, I guess. So, I mean, like I said, I mean, it kind of, everything that we just said, it kind of depends on which planet is having this nakshatra, of course. So, I mean, you could, you know, apply those characteristics and, you know, apply it with the planet, the house that it's in, and then get a more solid picture of how that's all working. I think that the most, some people, they don't like to be possessive, you know, and they don't like to be possessed. So, and I don't mean like possessed by a demon or something. I mean like they don't like it when people are keeping tabs on them. But Ashlesha Nakshatra, it's not so much keeping tabs, but it's theirs. They're possessive. It's not so much that they care and they're scared that this person's gonna leave them, or they're insecure. No, it's theirs, and they like to squeeze. It's something that, how do I explain it? You know how a snake it coils around something and it squeezes its victim dry. It's like that. It's not so much of, because you've got two types of people that get possessive. You've got insecure people who get possessive, and then you've got people that get possessive just because it's like an urge. That's what this nakshatra is. It's not an insecurity issue. It's a possession. It's mine, and I want it, and it's all mine. It's nobody else's. So there's a difference. I don't want anybody to get confused with what I mean when I say possession or possessive characteristics. I would just be careful, because sometimes, just like the snake, they have that poison venom. You just have to be a little bit careful with any cold-bloodedness or poisonous, painful things that you could be doing or saying. And just tap into the good insights that you have, the wisdom, your understanding in any subjects. And you have such good influence on people if you just tap into that. This is an awesome, powerful nakshatra, and you could do a lot with it. So, folks, that's all I have for Ashlesha, and I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I enjoy talking about it. Have a great night.